Hello, this is a quick tutorial on PreFlight. So PreFlight is an After Effects extension, and once you've installed it you'll find it under Window and Extensions. You can dock it like any other panel. So what PreFlight does is it scans your composition and flags any issues that could cause you to have to re-render a project before you actually hit render. And it tells you if a project is safe to deliver to a client or not. So I've got a very simple project here, and this is all good to render. But before I do it, I'm just going to click the PreFlight button. So once I click this, it's going to do a series of checks and it will tell you any issues that have been flagged. So straight away you can see it runs really quickly and it's flagged actually several issues that I'm going to have to fix before I hit render. Now any one of these issues could cause a project to mean I have to re-render, or it could get rejected by a client, or even worse, it could go out into the public with errors containing within it. So the first thing you'll notice is we do have a very robust spell checker within PreFlight. So this is going to scan your current composition and all the pre-comps inside it and flag up any spelling mistakes and give you suggested fixes. So it means you can very quickly spell check a project and make sure that there's no errors that are going to make it through to the final render. So it's come up with 4 spelling mistakes here, and if I just click each one of them, it's going to jump to the actual point in the timeline where that error occurs. This could be inside of a nested pre-comp. It'll jump straight to it and it will give me a suggested spelling correction, and I can make this correction just with one click here. So if I click the suggested spelling mistake correction, it will update it straight in the timeline. I don't have to dig into the actual text box itself. Now this spelling mistake here is flagging this as a spelling mistake, but this is actually a company name, so it's not an error exactly. And just to make sure this doesn't get flagged again, I can add it to my dictionary. And once I add it to my dictionary, then it will not flag that as a spelling mistake again, and that will persist across projects. And I click this last spelling mistake here. Again, this is not actually a spelling mistake, this is an acronym, so I can dismiss this away. It's also given me an advisory here because PreFlight has noticed that even though there are several text objects here in my timeline, one of these ends in a full stop. And quite often if you're doing lists and only one of these has a full stop and none of the others do, this is the sort of thing that a client will pick up on, inconsistent punctuation. In this instance it's actually okay, so again I can just dismiss this out of the way and that will not come back up again. Now we have 3 last errors that are going to pop up here, so let's just go through these one at a time. So it's saying that even though my project's set to 32-bit colour, in my render queue I'm actually rendering as H.264, which is only going to be 8-bit. So I can change this to a more appropriate export setting, ProRes, and I can just dismiss this again. 2 final checks. If I click on this here, it's going to tell me I've managed to duplicate my audio layer here, so this would render as twice the volume in my final render. So let's just delete one of these. And then finally, solo has been left on for one layer, so let me just click onto this pill here, and again it's going to jump straight into this pre-comp, and I can see here that I've actually left a solo layer on. So this is one of those invisible errors that you might not spot till after a render. Sometimes you leave solo layers on and you don't realise, so let me just uncheck that solo switch, and the rest of the composition is going to come back into view. So now I've fixed that, I can then go back to the PreFlight panel and rerun PreFlight, and hopefully it's going to tell me that this is now safe to deliver. And yeah, you can see it says ready to deliver there. Now if I go back to the home page of the panel, it's now going to say safe to deliver. I can render this without any issues, and I'm confident that I can deliver this to a client. If we go up into the settings here, you can see that there are actually 45 different checks that PreFlight can be pre-configured to run. So by default these are all on, but I can turn these on and off as I see fit, and I can save a preset. PreFlight does come with a few built-in presets, so for example if you just wanted to run this as a spell checker, we can just set this to spelling, and then spelling is the only check that's going to run. I also have proofreader, which is just going to do all the text checks and none of the others. I'm going to go back to default, which is all of them on. So as well as Text checks, you can see we do have composition, so if the work area does not match the content, we could end up rendering a dead space as a black frame. We can choose things like frame rates not matching between pre-comps, resolutions not matching the target resolution. Like I say, you can go through these and just turn these on and off as you want. So for example, some of these we can have text close to the frame edge. If you've got text that's going right up to the side of the composition, you might have nudged it accidentally. You can choose a specific safe margin. So another one, empty frames in delivery. So we do have like a random black frame. Sometimes you don't see these when you're previewing your composition. You only spot it on the render. PreFlight can check all these. Audio. If we have duplicate audio layers, or we have audio silenced, or we have no audible audio in the delivery, we can turn these on and off. Solo switch left on. PreFlight can also run through your composition and see if you've left any placeholder content in there. So if you've used placeholder stock footage or stock video, it will scan and look for placeholder words like placeholder, temp, draft, sample, and you can add your own placeholder names in there as well. Sometimes layers are left at a near zero opacity, so you might have left something at 2% visibility. Again, you can just set a tolerance level there. So like I say, there are 45 checks altogether, and at the moment the dictionary is UK English and US English. More dictionaries will be added in future, and you can add custom words down here to your own personal library, which will be things that don't get flagged by the spell checker. So that's PreFlight. It's just one press before you render, so the silly stuff never reaches the client. It's on AE scripts now, so thanks for watching.